We have access to more facts right now than at any point in human history. Yet, somehow, true understanding feels rarer than ever. We are constantly bombarded with data, but we struggle to make sense of it all. This environment has created the modern accumulator, someone who hoards fragmented pieces of information, scrolling and saving data without ever learning how to connect the dots or articulate a clear argument. Classical education suggests a different approach, a repeatable method for processing any subject the world throws at you. This is the Trivium, the 3 ways. It is a foundational method of the liberal arts designed to build intellectual mastery from the ground up, regardless of the topic. Mastering these 3 paths provides the tools to filter through modern noise, allowing you to build your own thoughts from raw information rather than merely reacting to it. The first step is grammar. In the Trivium, grammar isn't about sentence structure. It's the phase of acquiring and categorizing raw knowledge. It answers a single question: what is this? Think of it like learning photography. Before you can take a great picture, you have to identify the tools and define the terms. This involves the baseline work of memorization. You learn what an ISO setting is, where the shutter lives, and how wide the aperture opens. At this stage, you aren't analyzing how these pieces interact. You are simply collecting the facts. Grammar is the gathering of bricks. It transforms the initial chaos of a new subject into an organized catalog of parts, providing the necessary foundation for any higher-level analytical thought. Once you have your bricks, you need a blueprint. That brings us to the second phase, logic, historically known as dialectic. This is where the mind organizes the raw material gathered during grammar. Logic forces you to move beyond definitions and start identifying the relationships of cause and effect. It is the transition from what to why. In photography, logic is the mastery of the exposure triangle, a system where changing one variable inherently alters the others. If you decrease the light by speeding up your shutter, you create a deficit. To maintain a proper exposure, you must counteract that by increasing your ISO. Observing these strict relationships prevents you from making contradictory choices. You stop guessing what the buttons do and begin to understand the system as a cohesive whole. Logic acts as the engine of truth. It ensures our ideas are structurally sound and protects the mind from falling into contradictory or chaotic thinking. The final phase of the Trivium is rhetoric. This is the synthesis, communication, and application of everything you've gathered and organized. It answers, how do I express this? In our photography metaphor, this is the moment you use technical knowledge to capture a subject that evokes a specific emotional response, or pathos, in the viewer. But classical thinkers warned that rhetoric without the structural truth of logic is just sophistry, a tool used to manipulate rather than to inform. Similarly, attempting rhetoric without the foundational facts of grammar results in noisy confusion. You might be speaking, but you aren't communicating anything of substance. True rhetoric is the delivery of logically sound truth, tailored specifically to an audience to inspire clear understanding and real-world action. The Trivium is not a linear checklist that you complete once. It is a continuous cyclical engine. The act of expressing or teaching an idea often exposes new gaps in your own knowledge. A question you cannot answer sends you immediately back to the grammar phase to acquire more facts. Each rotation through these 3 ways deepens your mastery of a subject. You learn, you understand, you express, and then you dive deeper. In an era defined by information overload and manipulative algorithms, this cycle provides a way to step out of the fog. This level of mental clarity is the result of a deliberate architectural structure, a skill built through the consistent application of these 3 phases. By mastering the Trivium, you replace the habits of the accumulator with the precision of a trained thinker. You absorb data accurately, verify its structure, and articulate your findings without confusion.